Alright guys, welcome back to Let's Make It Weird. We got special guest Balan Kashmir. We got Mugin, we got Vishnu right here. So our topic of the day is music and culture and art, everything involving music at all. So as customary, before we start the show, we gotta give our respects to Barry White. She isn't dead, but we respect her, so moment of silence for her. Okay, we are back. Okay, that's how we do it.
I swear, right? Like, that was like the most weirdest thing ever. Like, I really hope she sees it on Twitter or something and goes like, why is this random Indian boy is like giving me a form of respect and moment of silence at the same time?
That's the whole idea. Like, it's a crack. Why is these people doing it?
And the show's name. Let's get weird.
Let's make it weird. So our topic about music. So Vishnu has been in the arts industry for a longer. He hasn't exposed himself to the music scene at all. So he was telling me like, I don't know how this music is. He wants to get into music directing. He doesn't know how the industry works. And he was telling me, so like, who better not to tell about the whole industry is you, right, since you has been there for a really long time.
Yep. I think it was college, right? Like from college, trying to do mass comm and being around art, creative people, and all my buddies from college made it to like so many great places in life, in positions in a lot of like Astro and Media Prima, and they got like jobs for me to look at and understand like how the art scene actually works in Malaysia. It's whether you want to go with the rules or you want to break it. And I think in the last 10 years, times have changed so much. Today, you don't play by the conventional law books of how art is done anymore. It used to be like that abroad, but in Malaysia it was still very staple. There was like a holy grail book that you need to follow these rules. You need to be nice to these people. These are the managers you get at and everything. Today, a 21-year-old talent could be heard all around the world without being part of that whole system. You know, it's very hard to break into this country's music industry without playing these laws. It used to be like that. Like radios, you need to be nice to these people, and you have to do a lot of free shows. You have to do a lot of free jobs for people, and you build yourself up. And then it came to a point where like, you don't need to do all that anymore. Like, if it reflects. People would resonate to your music. But the sad part is like, because that happened, people are putting out all kind of content lah. And there is a listener for everything in this country. There's an audience for anything around the world. But sometimes it just gets a bit crazy lah. Like, nowadays anybody would like take a phone and say something about something. And that shit can go viral. So that's the thing about the art scene in our country.
But like just now you said about like that system where a lot of people were following like last time, they have a certain guideline. Don't you think it reflects like now, if you want to make it commercially, there's a certain like a song, how it produced, what you got to say inside, like a certain system. So like remember like at one point all the songs sounds the same to make it a hit.
Like you are in a TikTok generation, but like you could say the same thing about America. You could say the same thing about Europe music or any form of music. It all sounds the same for a face. Like today, everybody is trapping. Like everybody is doing doing triplets on their rap. But triplets were already done in the 90s. Outkast was doing it. People in the South was doing it. Triplets were always there. But it's just that triplets got evolved lah. And when Migos came and brought it in, and now everybody wants to do it, so they don't fall off the face of what's happening at that dimension, right? So everything on radio sounds the same. So even radio execs will be like, oh, this sounds current. So what is current? Current is what is happening in that spectrum of TikTok or radio or whatever. Like even like Beyonce didn't have to do a song like I'm a hustler, she didn't have to. But at that time, all the production was such a milli, like, so then it will feed off to our country. Like then we will be in that phase for a while. Everybody will be following what our seniors are doing or somebody big is doing in our country.
I understand. So like you were saying things about how to say there's a system that follows like much like what you said, and then like what's trending, right? And then how we perceive that, and then we create our own rendition of it, right?
Right.
So just say if someone were to come like a local artist lah, probably. Just say yourself, like when you hear music that's trending at the moment, like, is it like, do I want to step on this? The first thought, like, do I want to get in on this, or do I want to step back? Do I want to do something else?
As an artist,
Yeah.
like for me,
Yeah.
I don't speak for anybody. I'm speaking for me. If it resonates to me, and if I like it, then I'll do it. If it
Right.
doesn't, I'm not gonna force myself to do it unless it's a client, unless it's a job. You know,
Right.
don't look at making art for yourself as a job, right? Like some people do, like because one of my friends said this like many years ago. The industry here is so ruthless. It's heartless. It'll chew and spit you out in a second. Like, so play by the laws. So
Right.
like a lot of my friends have to play the radio laws. If you want to break, you have to do Malay records in this country, for sure, because most of the country speaks the language. It's your country's language, right? So whatever race you are, it doesn't matter. Like, you want to break big, you better do that. And only a very few people got lucky, and they didn't get lucky here. They got lucky abroad. Like
So like even if you like you say only like Malay songs are the way to go in this country, so there are some people that went to abroad and makes English music, for example.
shout
That's what they
out, shout out to Yuna. Like,
Yeah.
she's an inspiration to me. Like, I've been following her story, like from UITM, like selling demos. She and Bunkface, like these are
Right.
bands that people that really look like, wow, look at their journey, right? Yuna did everything that she wanted to do, but she still had to play by the laws, and she won all the awards and everything. She's like, okay, what else? Like, I gotta go abroad. Like,
It's like a new challenge
yeah,
for
like
the
as an artist, you want to challenge
So
yourself.
does like this, in contrary of that, does that mean like all artists that does English music should go abroad
I don't
and
think
leave the
so.
country
Nah,
and do
nah,
music
nah.
there?
I don't think so, guys. Like, there were so many English acts in this country has blown up here
Right.
and made a good career out of themselves, and their songs still resonates. Reish Monu,
Right.
he didn't play by the laws at all. Like, not because he's not Malay or anything, but he didn't play by the laws. He did music like how he wanted to do it. Poetic Ammo did it. Too Fat did it. Come on, guys. Like, I know I'm talking about acts like maybe 10, 15 years ago, but
But
these
it's still
guys,
relevant to
yeah,
today's,
like listen to like Rebirth into Reality. That album is like a thesis for any rapper that wants to become an MC. Like, there's rappers, anybody could rap. Then you got MCs who take their trade very personal, and
Right.
they don't look at it as a sport, like a battle, or I want to blow up and be on a cloud chasing moment. They want to be great writers. They want their writing to speak. Like, I could recite raps from 2005 that is so relevant today than it was relevant back then. So what am I? Did Joe Flizzo and Malik took like a time travel machine and come here and study? No,
Right.
they were writing things as MCs, like they will reflect as humans, as life, and it still reflects till today. So I don't think you need to go abroad to blow up like Preets, but getting that recognition from somebody abroad changes the perception of our country people. It's sad. In Tamil scene, you have to go to Hollywood.
And then
Then, like, if somebody gives you a shot there, then you come back here, whoa, what's up, my man? You made it, dog.
that's how Yuna happens. And it was so sad to see, like, that's like right after that she blew up, and then we are like, okay, she's our hometown girl. But when she was here doing shows, like, nobody used to buy tickets for her shows and all.
Yeah, like that's the best part of this not Malaysian scene lah. It's everywhere. Singapore is the same. Indonesia is the same.
Is it an Asian thing or is it?
I don't know. I don't think Thailand is like that. Thailand celebrates, bro. Thailand rappers got their own Air Force Ones.
Okay,
Like, yo, come on, dog. Like, I want to go into JD Sports and not buy some Nike. I want to buy Joe Flizzo's Nike. Why not?
Right,
Why
right,
can't
right.
my brethren from this country be recognized the same way?
Right.
Are we slow? Are we dumb? No, we're not. We're just that we're shaped that way. Like, oh, cannot. Maybe might not sell. Who are you to say it? Like how radio people say, oh, this song is not mixed right. Or this song is not for our audience. Who are you to say it? There's all like social media today, like in TikTok. Some numbers are real, some numbers are fake lah. Like, let's not even argue or go there. But still, it speaks the voice of the people rather than a voice of a corporate.
Right.
You know, you could see that with Thailand, Japan. Japan's like, fuck all of y'all. Like, we're gonna do our own shit. You all come here.
Yeah, that's true. Like I know, like Thailand, they have a rule where like 30% of radio play should be played locally, local talents. Like they should play only like 30% is local talents.
Who told you that?
I thought I remember seeing an article about it.
It's 70-30.
70-30,
70
yeah.
local, 30
70%.
international.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
where
yeah.
did we go wrong?
Understand?
Are you telling me that all my sisters at home must listen to Beyonce,
Yeah.
Cardi B? No. They got YouTube, what? What is stopping local radios from playing local music? Are we not up to standards? Sorry, who are you to say that?
Exactly. I think it's like that with films as well.
Yeah.
Like Malaysian movies don't really get the recognition that it deserves. Like I believe like some Malaysian movies have been slept on, have been really slept on.
Jagat?
Yeah. He was just talking with me about Jagat.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then like the newer movies like Want to Jaga, Fly by Night. These movies they are relevant movies, especially to today's.
Thank you,
to this-
Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
you see, they broke the system.
Yeah.
And like now you
what-
can go watch it.
They allowed us a platform, but like still cinema, right? There's as a filmmaker, I would want to see my film in the cinema. My friends, my families, can come and see it.
There's this movie, Jagat. I went for the premiere, and I brought a guy who was younger to me
Yeah, yeah.
because I had a ticket. I said, "Come on, go watch this movie." 30 minutes into the movie, fucker sleeping, bro.
Oh shit.
I was disrespected. I was like, "Dude, wake up, lah."
Yeah.
He's like, oh, so it came out. It's like, oh, it didn't resonate to me. But it was the age. It was the people he was around with. He's been drowned in the system where everything is so coloured when it comes to Tamil movies. Then the next movie that I went to theatre, like I was part of the movie. It was done so tastefully. People might not agree with me. It was very good to Pasanga because it was done exactly for what the community wanted at the time.
It's just follow the same system.
Yeah, like
the
great
same
jokes,
guidelines.
great funny jokes, some lame jokes, some love story, everything.
Yeah.
But it was done so tastefully. I'm not saying this because I was part of the movie or they're my friends. No, that is why it made that much money in the blockbusters. You know, they made
Right.
more than $1 million. Then recently another movie came out called Metro Malay. Soundtrack, world class.
Mhm.
The song Dr. Byrne did on the song, world class. Acting, all new people. Crew, new people. Art director needs to be in fucking Hollywood already. Like, I was like, damn.
These
what-
are all Malaysian people.
Malaysian boys. The
Right,
whole story
right,
is
right,
about like a girl who's going through a bad marriage and a boy who's about to like lose it. And it's a small part of a human emotion between them and what's happening around them.
Right.
You know. So I was like, wow. You know, real emotions are very hard to come by in movies, in Tamil movies especially. It's so fabricated, right?
Yeah, it's too fabricated.
Yeah, like no, but don't diss it. Like it's an industry, it's a business,
It's
right?
yeah, it's their life. That's
Yeah,
their
yeah, yeah.
lifestyle.
So- like Malaysia also will sure have those kind of movies, but there are so many Malay movies that I grew up watching
Watching,
that
yeah.
didn't come out in theatre. There's this movie called Dari Jemapo ke Manchester. Okay, it's about a guy who fell in love with Manchester United, who wanted to go to Manchester. The whole movie is that. I'm not kidding, guys. It's on YouTube. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's a band
Okay.
that decided to, you know, the band guys in early 90s.
Yeah.
They decided to make a movie. Like they all put in money and they highlighted some bands inside the movie. And it's a story about two guys who wants to go to Manchester. And the end of the movie, the car flies. So it's like it's so
original, like, it's very.
it's real. How
Yeah.
could you think that? Like dari Jemapo, I didn't even know there was a place called Jemapo in
Jemapo.
Malaysia.
Yeah.
So dari Jemapo ke Manchester. It's not
Yeah.
Manchester, Manchester.
Right.
Then there was movies like they
Why they were banned? Why was it banned?
got like it's that time for that time the movie was ahead of its time lah.
Right.
You couldn't show Malay culture like that what? Like how Jagat got banned, right?
Yeah.
But Jagat went to win the best film.
Went
The first
best
time
FFM, yeah,
a
yeah.
non-Malay movie wins the best film of the year is
Yeah.
Jagat. And no one gives Sanjay the credit. I don't know Sanjay, guys, but no one gives this man that credit. The industry gave it to him. It's like going to Grammys and seeing like Cardi B, whatever Stallion, all these people nominated, and you always see these kind of people winning, right?
Yeah,
Then you
yeah.
suddenly see Kendrick winning it, or somebody like.
Out of the box, lah.
Yeah,
Someone,
you know,
someone
like
you don't expect.
Jagat
to
was the
win.
only time it happened. And there was so many Malay movies like that was banned, bro, in Malaysia. Yeah, we had Tragedy October and all this.
Okay, he was just telling. We also had this conversation where you want to tell about the documentary about the decriminalization one.
No, there was this documentary like we heard about it. There was this documentary that was made, and then it was basically showing what the effects of decriminalizing drugs in Malaysia would do.
Okay.
So, I don't want to mention names or anything, but like, so they showed the effects of what would happen if you. It's like their own creation of it. It's like it's like a what if kind of thing.
What if? Yeah. Okay.
So the whole idea was to show them that drug crimes relating to drugs was reduced because there's no more dealers. But what happens when you decriminalize, you have all these things. So that, and then the persecution of it, that you're no longer sent to prison immediately, sent to rehab to get help first. And then when they brought it back here, I think they couldn't screen the film because it showed a lot of things that was sensitive to how we as a nation would perceive it.
Number one, because they can't, they're trying to figure out how do we tax this and build a system like how America did. Even America, number one country in the world, like what everybody says, right? Even they took a while.
Right.
And they're still taking, because there's
time,
people who are very sensitive about these kind of things. There are people who still believe that it shouldn't be around kids, it shouldn't be around youths, and how it will shape them. Because not everybody who does any form of contraband from the age of 16 onwards will be shaped the same way. It's their experiences, their life, so it's being pressed down in a way. And medically, I think it should, because
medically,
cancer. I've lost a few family members over cancer, and I know other friends who had to buy oil from abroad and try to keep their family alive, and then suddenly the medicine won't come on time, and they've lost their families. And this is not a joke, guys. This is crazy. And I have friends who are doctors who have never smoked in their life, and they believe in it. They look at it as
medicinal purposes.
Yeah, in a very. But we are in a stage in the whole world, not only our country, right? Don't blame our country, but we are in the whole world is in a stage where they're trying to find a way how we can regulate it. The the country makes something out of it, in terms of they see in the first 10 years after they regulate it, what has happened to the youths. It's not the adults, it's not the people with stress, it's the youths, because that is where you shape your nation, right? So if they go wrong, then your next
next in line,
your next 20-30 years of your country is in a very scary state. Guys, the opium epidemic, the meth epidemic in America is not a joke. Go look at the documentaries. It's crazy.
But the opium and meth, that part of time were controlled because they decriminalized this and they control the supply for the drugs. That's why the opium and the meth thing just reduced drastic, because they control and supply, and they control the supply for the drugs.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We have great people in the government that have gone abroad, studied, and came back. I don't know how you guys feel about it, because our age difference is 10 years.
Sure.
I'm in my 30s, and I think Khairi Jamaluddin is one of the best ministers that has found that fine line,
the balance between
to explain it to the his OGs, and also the younger guys and people in his age. And in every ministry post that he's been in, he's tried his level best to change how we can be shaped. And there'll always be people say, he did good or bad, right? He's great or he's bad, But I've been following this guy, and this guy was he went abroad to study, and he was in UK, and the perception, I was abroad for a week. My perception about life changed. These are people who stayed there and came back.
How it shapes your
the type of friends you meet there, and what they become in their countries. I have a friend called Rajiv who went to Russia and did medicine and came back. But the amount of friends that he met there today, he is giving clean water to all the orang asli in this country. So sometimes when you go abroad and come back, like you bring back something that's so valuable. But it'll take time for you to install it to your country because the pace is so different.
Right.
Yeah, you know, there are people in the police force, people in the government political force who are trying to figure out a way, because you can save so much people in cancer. There's meth addiction in this country is insane.
It's bad.
The reason why there's so much crime is because of that. But you also have to understand.
Ice.
Yeah, like it's
Ice.
crazy. I'm from Klang, guys. Like,
Right.
yeah, and I see it. Like some Anne at night, 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, Anne is a brother. I don't mean Indian guy. I'm sorry, I guess. It could be any race. Cycling in front of my house at 4 o'clock in the morning and trying to look for some metal scraps so he can sell the next
Sell
day.
to get.
And then my mom tells me like he used to be one of the best students in town. Like I'm like, what? This guy was like the best student in town. What happened? Life happened. You know, it's your environment, it's the structure of us and structure of community, then structure of the government and everything. But we can't save everybody lah. But let's hope in 10 years time, medically, there's a lot of changes that happens.
So like when it comes to countries like Thailand for example, super huge, more economic, more developed than our country at some point. They have legalized at a certain part of Thailand. So how did they proceed to pass laws so fast, rather than in our small country?
I'm gonna be an uncle right now. Huh? Pritu. Prostitution is legal in the country, Pritu. What are you saying? Like
it attracts to, if it attracts
their mind
tourism.
frame is so different. You cannot, bro. You cannot. It's very hard to compare us to them because here we're still very rooted to our upbringing, our
The culture lah,
our
yeah.
culture, our religious holdings in all races, bro. Not only like one, like all. All of us are rooted. I have Indian friends who don't drink, don't smoke, and age 32 still singing Tevaram on Fridays, and they come to clubs, but you know, like it's so different. They're still rooted, but that doesn't make me an asshole or you guys an assholes. No, it doesn't.
It's just the way of
how he was brought up and stuff like that. In Thailand, you will know a girl that goes to university getting her things straight, and at night she might work at Phuket, like in a club. My friends have met people like that who speak great English, like, but they're just doing it as a job and
side income,
like to
kind of thing.
get through school or to take care of their families. So how are you going to judge a person like that? It's not like they were forced, human trafficked and into it or anything like that.
Circumstances lah.
Yes. Some is not even circumstances. Some is like, I'm born in that environment. Like, as a girl, my only options are like this. Like, I feel bad. Like, you know, like imagine if you know somebody in our environment that her only options are that. Like, and there's no one to save her. So, not everybody that's in Phuket is a bad person, or anyone in Thailand doing prostitution is a bad person. Lah. Same goes to anyone who's doing a joint in this country is a bad person. Like, ice, opium and all this stuff. Medically, like, we all know doctors, right? Go ask them. It's not meant for consumption like that. It's not
for recreational use.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Chemical.
Yeah, dude, it messes up your head. Like, you go crazy. Women get beaten up. Women beat up men. Men has gone to police station and report my wife is high and she beat me up.
Yeah.
Like, you know, why I know all this is like I got family members who are in the force and they tell me from the other side how they look at it. And it's like, it's not that we don't want to help. But dude, imagine we're dealing with like 30 million people. Our country has about 30 million people. How do we come up with a law and a system
To protect
that's gonna
everyone.
protect everybody? Like, that is the questions that they're going through. Because like recently, like like when they took out marijuana off the thing, right? And Malaysia's like, no, we don't play by the laws, which is right. How can you play by the laws when your countrymen can't even? We have a community that has V2K.
Okay.
Boys don't even know how to respect women. Like, how the hell are we gonna go to that? This topic is over. We're not just settle. We want to go there. Yeah, you get it? Not. We are in a very scary.
And then you got some people marrying underage people. That's also true. Like we have more bigger problems when it comes to the others like that. We
It's
got
like
this
the-
problem
yeah, it's like
where
the
we have to
old-
settle before going to
And
those
we
kind of
always
shit.
like say, oh, you're marrying underage people, and we say Indian and Chinese people and all that. No, guys, like I'm saying it to the camera. No, I met a bunch of boys in Kuala Selangor at my shoot. The boy was 18 years old. He has never seen KLCC. He has seen KLCC. He's in Kuala Selangor, no? But he's never seen KLCC. He's seen KLCC in a Tamil movie from India. I'm like, what?
Right.
Yeah, I've seen KLCC in a Tamil movie. Vijay was dancing in front. I'm like, so you had to watch a movie that was produced by an India guy to show your national
Our
monument
country,
to
yeah,
you,
yeah.
and you're like maybe 20 minutes away from KLCC. And then I was like, what do you do? I dropped out of school after standard 6. I've been working in the estates. Okay. What happens on a daily basis? Oh, morning, my wife wakes me up. What?
My wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were like an arranged marriage at the age of 15. Then 18 when they registered. But 15 they're married already.
So in like that kind of circumstances, who do you blame? Like, do you blame the upbringing of their parents, or do you blame society itself?
First of all, who are we to blame them?
Like,
How can we blame? Like, we cannot point it down because it has been a generational thing. Like, they've been like that. And it's been a norm. Like, they look at it very simple. Okay, I look at it from their point of view. 18 years old married, 15 married, 18 then 18, 19 got kid. The fella can tell me straight in my face, nah, you married? I say, no, I'm not. When I am your age, my kid can take care of me. You guys see it?
Yeah.
I see.
By the
Yeah.
time he's 40, his kid is an adult. The kid can go to work and take care of him. I'm not saying he's like raising a kid to be his slave or whatever.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying like, imagine being 41, 42 and you can still, you see somebody who can, your child as an adult and you can take care of you if anything happens to you.
Okay.
So I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying if anybody got married wrong in a young age is wrong. But that's how they've been now. Who are we to blame them?
Yeah.
And yeah, we can blame the community, we can blame the system, we can blame the environment, but they are born the environment. We wouldn't know a single thing what they go through on a daily basis. The fellow's daily wage is 12 ringgit. He works from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, then he has lunch, then he goes back to work 3 hours. By 5 he's back home.
And this
So-
is, it's like the, how to say? Yeah, exactly. It's quite.
Okay, we'll go out for a commercial break first.
Yeah, you want to have a cigarette?
Yeah, go ahead, have a commercial
We'll be
break.
back.
We'll be right back after we're going to talk more about who we're going to blame. See you
Damn,
later.
Right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Make It Weird. We got Pritu, we got Vish, we got our OG bro Balan here.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
So let's go back straight to our topic earlier.
Right. So earlier you were mentioning about the disparities and things and like how our film scene and all of that, lah, right?
Right.
So I just want to throw something at you. I was thinking about it just now. So when you come from Klang, right? So
Yeah.
Did it shape how your music would take form? Like did it say like I come from this place, like I want to represent the Klang
Right.
Klang people, I want to speak for them kind of thing, or was it more of like I just want to speak for me, I want to do my thing?
I think it was a phase, bro. Like it was different
Right,
different phases. College, then uni, then being like a young adult around people who are really doing music. But I think the Klang always spoke because not I wanted to do it for myself. Imagine if you win, your whole city wins kind of mentality.
right.
Like you,
Small family.
yeah, like if you win, like everybody wins around you. Like you want to
That's
see all your friends win, right? So that mentality was installed in me very young because I had friends in all races. I speak Malay like a Malay guy. Like all my Malay boys know that. Like when I do Malay interviews or I even speak to Grab drivers today, they're like, Abang Melayu ke?" I'm like, no dude, like I come from that generation or a place like Klang. At that time, when I was growing up, it was that mentality that all of us had. We wanted the whole city to win because my city was always looked as a gangster town, a gangland, or for all the bad reasons. But you cannot beat the fact there were so many legends that came from there. Ella is from there. Wat Doyo is from there. DJ Uno is from there. Like, these are people who made us proud, made the city proud. And these are like high school stories that we hear about people from Klang, right? So my whole group KLG squad, all my boys, 5 of us, we had that mentality. We need to carry Klang and make it proud, rather than like, tu budak-budak Klang, mesti gangster, nanti satu wisabal, ni Cina mesti makan. It was so racist at one point, and we were like, no dude, like, we're normal people. You still gotta come to my city for bak kut teh. You can speak all you want.
Right.
My city still has the best bak kut teh on planet Earth, like hands down. I'm sorry, that's my brag right there for Klang. Yeah, and then comes that. Then comes, have you guys gone to like, there's this place called Simpang 4, and it's Malay-centric area, got bundles and everything. So much of culture. People own their own lands, own spots. The Malay food there is to die for, bro. Why am I going to drive anywhere else? Like, I had everything in my town. So it reflected in the art that we were making. My group's name was KLG Squad. We were so proud. We like had that pride. But along the way, then it came like, okay, you know what, you're growing up and stuff like that. You need to know, people already know that story. Like, why are we like flaunting it all the time? Then you just start speaking for yourself. Like, things that you go through as an adult, as a human, or trying to make music that sells, all that phases of making art. But at this point in time, looking back at it, I miss that characters we were when we were at that age, because I don't see that in the current generation. It's so complot, we're all like very territorial. Like, we don't see mixed boys like this. Like, there's so many mixed people here. I don't see that much in so many places I go. It's always one-centric. Like, it's Indian boys, all Indian fellas. Chinese fellas, all Chinese fellas. Malay fellas, all Malay fellas.
Yeah. Like, that was weird for me because I always had, like, my school was always very mixed. Stayed in the hostel. We were forced to mix. I mean, I wouldn't call it forced for me, but, we mixed with different people. So I learned about places like Kelantan and like Terengganu and things like that, and I'm coming from KL, so their perception of me is I'm this rich kid that's spoiled and all because I'm from the city, and my perception of them is like, you're this country bumpkin that came from there, right? It's like a lot of them learning and I'm learning as well. So
our states got so much of a difference, bro. Like, I went to Miri like in 2013. My friend was a doctor there, so I went there. That town changed my perception about Malaysia. I was like, yo, my God, this place is so beautiful. Like, we always speak about Penang, Langkawi and all that stuff. Like, when do we speak about places like Sungai Petani or Lembah Bujang and stuff that is not spoken about all the time, and when you meet people out of state, you understand everybody's territorial in some sense of where they come from. But we should take chances to learn from them rather than like turning them down from a very young age. That happens in hostel a lot. Like, there's a big gap of like, I don't understand you, you don't understand me.
But you're put in a place where you're forced to get to know each other.
Yes.
I think that's what people are missing. So everyone is too comfortable in like to go back to like how our society is. I think everyone's too comfortable in like where we are.
They're afraid to change.
Change is scary to anything, right? Just imagine changing school, right? Could you imagine yourself like at like 15
starting fresh?
I changed school a couple of few times,
right?
It's scary.
It's still
imagine going from a government school, then your parents suddenly want to pull that card in community and class.
Right.
Let's send our son to a private school.
Right.
I went to a private school in Form 3, middle of Form 3.
Right.
I'm the only Indian fella in my whole form.
So the rest was what?
All Chinese boys, all Chinese girls.
Right.
And like there's maybe like 2 Indian girls in the whole school, and they're elder to me. There's no Indian girl my age. Nobody younger to me also. I'm Form 3. And it's the first time I'm going to a co-ed school. I was from LaSalle. Then my parents did this to me. And my counselor was a Chinese lady. The son is studying government school with me, Danny. So Danny's mom was like, you're not happy here. Like, you will never be happy, because I had great friends. Then I had friends who, like from my own form, who won't speak to me. Because they never had an Indian friend. It's sad, no? Like, they never had an Indian friend. In their whole form, from the time they were Form 1 all the way standard 1 to form 3, same school.
Right.
Their whole like maybe 3 classes, they never had an Indian friend. And there was one Malay fella lah. His name is Arif, young Arif. He's the rapper in my group. So that's how I met Arif, because we clicked. Because okay, you're the orphan here, I'm the orphan here too. We should be friends.
Right.
And
It's just that similarity.
because kau pun outcast, right? Aku pun outcast.
Yeah.
And then we had friends. I'm not saying everybody's racist or anything. It's just that they don't know how to mingle with us, and we like don't know how to mingle with them because they speak. Everybody speaks Chinese there, bro. Like Klang, Hokkien. Everyone speaking Hokkien, and you're like, yes. Oh, okay. And like, dude, you don't understand the shit we're saying. Like, change is a very scary thing.
Yeah, but that happens everywhere also, right? I mean, like in my school, there were the Indian boys in school didn't really like me because I was more of I would lepak with like the Chinese boys and the Malay boys and all that.
We have a word for you in the community.
Yes,
Like,
I'm aware.
It's Peter.
Peter, yes.
I got that too, like because you speak good English. You mingle with other races, so you're not like one of us. Like I know that feeling. I have friends like that. Like I'm not dissing my friends, and today they're still my best friends. But I'm still a Peter to them lah. They're like, we would not fully accept you. No,
We just there.
you didn't grow up like this. No, okay.
Yeah. But like I guess that's the thing that makes it fun, right? It's like we've all got like certain groups that we click in, and like we feel comfortable with this group, right? And you would feel comfortable in like your group, like because these people have like
your tribe.
Exactly.
You attract your tribe.
So I guess that's how the people who like you see in school, like okay, there's a Chinese group and then there's like the Indian group and all of that. Right? That's how they feel. Like like speaking the same language is also a form of comfort. Like okay, you get me.
With that one similarity, is the
it's
language.
enough to like break walls, I believe.
It's crazy. Like I've checked this with like so many of my friends. Like how many Chinese friends you still have and how many Malay friends you still have, and we all are in our 30s, right? Very less, like 20%, maybe 10%. And I'm like, you're mad or what? Like I still speak to my boy Rauf like it's still high school. Like I take advices from one of my friends. I don't see the race card at all, but I still kept in touch. Like I said, what happened? Like, I don't know, after school fallout, after college fallout. I'm like, what? Like it's weird to me because maybe I grew up different, right? Like I didn't see it like how all my friends wouldn't have friends from other races, like in their life until their 30s or their 40s. Like my dad did. My late dad had like friends of all races come to the house. So my time, so I still have that and I still have it till now. Like, but when I go Deepawali to one of my like younger cousin's house and I see his age of friends, maybe one Sesat fella from a different race, another Sesat fella from a different race, just to keep the the quota right. Like, hey, you got no friends like Chinese boys or Malay boys? No lah, man. Like, that's weird, though. That's so weird.
It's weird because that makes me weird. Like I cannot imagine like not having like my Chinese friends and my Malay friends and like other races. Like, it freaks me out because like we're all the same. We talk about the same thing eventually. Right? We're like our families are not that much different, kind of thing.
So in the country, like to defeat this purpose of segregation of this, should we segregate the schools or what?
No.
Do you think you should segregate the schools?
I think
or just have one school like Kebangsaan, everybody's put in one
Singapore,
place together.
right? Singapore had this planned very well. I think I totally agree.
True.
Because you know why? Like every Tamil boy that I met in Singapore, Tamil girl that I met in Singapore can read and write, but they learned it in government school.
To
they learned it in government school.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not saying we don't need Tamil schools and Chinese schools. They're great institutions of community, bro.
Yeah.
You have to see it like that. Like Chinese schools and Tamil schools have always been a very community-based. They all gather money. They want the school to progress. They want their kids to go there. Being part of the tradition and all that, which is great. Like it's like sending. Like I went to LaSalle. When I have a son, I'm going to send him to LaSalle. It's a tradition thingy. So it's too weird, too innate already to like destroy everything and just have one. We can't. There's Chinese schools 50 years old, Tamil schools 40 years. Yeah, maybe they don't get enough funds and all that arguments, but they've been there. So why break that tradition? What we need in government schools is what like Singapore is or Thailand or a few countries are doing. Your mother tongue, macam you got to belajar. You're Indian boy, right? You make sure you learn your language
Yeah.
in the government school as well. Chinese boys do that. Malay boys do their Jawi and their Arab studies and everything. So why did we in our country had like moral class for Chinese and Indian boys? Yeah, it could have been a language class. Language opens up kids to think better. What? If a kid knows more than 4 languages, great one. Maybe a Tamil boy already knows how to read and write from home. He can be in school and go for
Chinese
Mandarin
lessons.
Chinese classes or
Like-
like Arab studies. Why not? Like, that is the part I think kalau they switch and they make it nice, beautiful, it's gonna be great, man. Like to see
But there
that.
are some people will like my religion. There are some people like that.
Every race will have that people. We can't ignore that people. But let's just, for the progression of everybody, let's do that. Like, it's so dope to see another race talking your language. I think it's a beautiful thing. If I'm a Malay boy and I see another guy speaking Malay like me, or even if he knows how to speak write Jawi or something, that's so dope. Like, I'll be like, yo, you're like one of us.
Yeah, it's nice, like especially in songs when like a Chinese dude raps in Tamil. You're
Okay,
like, holy shit.
Woshi J, right?
Yeah.
Like he raps in Chinese.
Chinese,
I think
yeah.
it's beautiful to see that. Like, all races should do that. And
But then you have this thing called people call you out for cultural appropriation, those kind of stuff. Like when you use my culture to get more fame rather than that. Like that, I call you get labeled like that somewhat rather, but I call it bullshit because it's how would a culture progress if another culture don't use it?
guys, if there's no if we don't have these kind of people, we won't have those kind of arguments, right? Like, it's good to have
A dialogue
arguments,
lah.
a dialogue to understand where we can go
Yeah,
together, rather than shutting us down or us shutting them down. It'll be great to see sitting civil and talking about what progression it can make. They might have their own points, which might be very strong also lah. Like, I saw this one thing on Twitter, like this girl did a Indian shoot and she got slammed like crazy on Twitter. The thing went viral, and I was saying like, why did we even spend 2 days arguing about this?
Was this this Indian girl called out this one Malay lady?
Yeah, like
for doing the photo shoot.
Yeah,
and
like,
all that.
it's
Yeah,
been
yeah, yeah.
like, I'm not saying the argument is not needed. I'm not shutting down both the parties. I'm just saying like that 2 days we were like just all over that. Then we moved on to the next. Like, I'm not saying that what that girl did was right or this girl was wrong. Not that. But I felt the argument was needed. But 2 days, we could have used that same energy like on things that is so much more alarming in this country.
Something that matters lah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that doesn't matter, bro. It does matter to some people. It is like it's very like, wow, it's against the line. Like, all of us have a line, right? Like when somebody crosses that, we're like, dude, come on, like, serious? But that argument, when I saw that 2 days, like, wow, there's so much things alarming in this country, bro. Like, but that doesn't mean these things are not important, lah. But I just felt the energy could have used.
In a
be
different
distributed
way, in a
elsewhere.
directed different way lah.
Yeah,
Like remember like what I want to ask also is about like drugs in the music industry. Like you see people copying from the States, they're drinking lean while doing that, and then you get these boys influenced by those kind of people. Like, do young boys now, because you have worked with a lot of youngsters now, do like young boys now actually do or get influenced by those kind of things, thinking they will like, hey, I'm quite little doing these kind of things and all.
Okay, all of us have been that age, right? I've been that age, you guys have been that age. Like, who is somebody to judge what you want to do at that age? You got to respect everyone's growth in life. Like, I don't think any of the boys here use it as a way to blow up. I don't think so. It's part of them. Like, they go out partying with their friends, they're with a clique, girls, boys, all together, having a great time. Nothing wrong with that. Like, you cannot shut them down. But I don't think I've seen anyone doing lean in this country. Like, no lah. Like,
I see, God.
okay, I've never seen that, guys. I'm being very honest here.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone like in the music scene, me growing up, who was actually drinking lean in front of me and going like, yeah, this is the shit. Like, because like what Americans are doing. No, I've never
But
seen that.
are there drugs and all?
Yeah, but it's everybody's choices of what they do.
Right.
Like we've seen friends really get heavy into addiction. The question we're having here is addiction and what it happens to their environment, their families, and the music that they're making. They could have been a great talent, and something like maybe a heroin addiction or like a ice addiction would have just taken them off their art or off their growth as an artist or a musician in this country. I can't speak for them because that was the choices they made. But I've seen people indulge in it, and it's everywhere. Not even only music; it's everywhere. Guys going to office 9 to 5, guys in the government offices, everywhere. Everyone's doing something. It's a human decision rather than a cultural or your industry decisions. Because I think in every industry,
it's again your choice to put that thing in your mouth.
Yeah, it's so. I've never seen like people like going crazy in front of me in studio or shows or anything. No, I haven't seen. But it's quite common for people with a lot of work stress to go through breakdowns. I've seen that like crazy breakdowns. Addiction breakdowns like alcoholism or heavy drugs.
Addiction also plays. It's like a crucial thing in Malaysia, especially. About 3 years back, I went to Kacang prison. I went and visited the death row prison, and these people are all like 85, 89, 90% Indians there.
Wow.
Mostly, and like 2% foreigners, and just others 1-2 million. And we did like a temple program there. So Deepavali time we went there, and then we sat with them, we talked to them. It was full of, like, most of them, they don't look like killer. They don't look at people who committed crimes. They look like normal people. I look more rowdy than them. When I went there, I was like, holy shit. So like most of them were brought up in a way that this lifestyle, you got no choice for this lifestyle, and this is what life chose about you, and you. So at that point, it's not decision anymore. So it's like, it's her lifestyle. That's how they grew up. This is how I'm meant to be. This is what I'm supposed to be. So they grew up in such a sense where they don't have a decision to make, and they go into rehab. They go into drug addiction. They'll go to this addiction. So like that's how addiction are growing in Malaysia.
Wow.
So that people don't have decision anymore.
I've been around lawyers. Like my late goddad is a lawyer, and he used to tell us stories. He's like one of the greatest storytellers on planet Earth, Gerard Lazarus. Every time he went to prison, I've asked him, like, can I come with you? And he was like, don't. I was like, why? Like, he's like, I know you want to come, sit down, talk to them, write stories, write songs, but no, Balan, I don't think you can handle it. Because the questions you ask it's going to be very strong. And I don't know whether a guy that's never seen that life or has never felt a day in their shoes is ready for the answers that you're about to get.
Right.
Like, why did he do a certain thing, or why was he a part of certain thing? I don't think you're ready for the answer. You, not anybody else. Like, he was talking personally to me. And I never got the opportunity to go to prison and meet people and to try to understand why or what they were thinking, because as an adult, he told me, I don't think you're ready for the answers, bro, and it's gonna shape you forever. That's very heavy for you to bring home and still live a civil, straight life, because the stories could affect you so much. You might come out and feel like the world is so unfair, the world is so. The world is unfair. Like, why we all have freedom, and he tells me every time he comes back from prison, it's a very heavy moment. Along the years, he knew how to control it, but the first few times when he went with his mentor to prison, as a lawyer, as a human, it was very heavy to come home to. So
because it's like your consciousness is. Especially if like you're coming in from perspective of like the defense attorney, right? You're going in like a battle that's quite tough as well, because now you have to prove this person's innocence as well as that, and then you got to prove and
You gotta be in their shoe.
A long time ago, I asked Mr. Gerard as well, like, how do you go in knowing that your client's guilty? And then he stopped me. He was like, no, he's not guilty until
it's proven.
And I'm like, okay. But we spent a week with him, right? With cameras all over him and all of that. And what you learn is, my perspective of inmates changed from there. It was not just like, okay, you're bad, I'm not going to listen to you. It's fairly recent, about 2 years ago only. And you hear the stories, like things that's happened to them, and like why they're on trial and all of that. And it really does change your perspective on how you view inmates after that. Like every movie you watch after that, just sort of like, it's not like that. When you hear the stories, it's like, this is a very sugar-coated version. Right? I think a good understanding of it would be like, when you watch Shawshank Redemption or like The Green Mile and all that, they always show like a side of humanity from the guards and all that. That's not always the case, I'm pretty sure most of us also know, right? So these individuals also, when they tell you certain things, like, it's coming from a place of like struggle or like a perspective of like, I'm trapped, I'm stuck, and it's like very, your back's against the wall, So they're antagonized, they're upset, things change, like their perspective of what seems normal to you is very different.
Yeah. So I remember him telling me that. Like, so when he told me about the prison, I was like, damn. It's like, yeah, bro, it's insane. Like how some of the cases that he's told me, like maybe they did it. Some of them did it, like, and they're still paying the price of somebody who actually did it. That's how heavy it is. And to know the fact that we all out here and we can't do anything about it hurts more. So along the way, like I've heard mad stories, like like things that we cannot even imagine happening in movies, happening in our backyards, our country. And it's such a small space in our daily lives that we don't think about it, and we just live with it, and we just pray that it gets better along the way, and nobody that we know will have to go through that same predicament of life. It doesn't change.
That's actually one of my biggest fear, like getting caught for something you didn't do. Yeah. That's like my biggest fear ever.
Yeah, being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's the wrong time.
It's scary.
Yeah, it has happened.
Yeah, it has happened before. Like I remember one story I was listening about this guy. This was like way in 1960s, where this guy was just walking out of nowhere. Cops came into the whole place, took him and told him that you raped somebody all the way in Texas, and he was in somewhere else. And then he was in prison for almost 40 years. So after doing that 40 years, that's when they got the DNA sample technology came in.
This is the Michael B. Jordan movie, is it?
No. It's so they just developed the technology for DNA. So they found out that DNA for that girl and him did not match.
Yeah, and
so he spent 40 years, and he was telling how did he got into a prison. So he's a black man, in that side, they were beating him every day, torturing him just because they told him he raped a woman.
A white woman,
a white woman. And then he was 40 and then he came out, like he cried, like and the best part is, like, what do you do in a scenario once you come out from prison from 40 years and you come that you didn't do 40 years, just come out to the real world, like this isn't a world anymore. My house was
PTSD.
Yeah, my home was a prison.
Yeah, 40 years.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't let me out, I'll just be here. Like, because they're so used to a system. That has happened in our country as well. People at the same area of a robbery happening, wearing the same t-shirt, same skin tone, maybe same haircut, descriptions match, and we were talking about times there's no CCTV, and things just happen like that. Like Gerard has told me that, like things like that happen in our country still, and some of the cases that has reached prison are the wildest. Like, I know this because a man that was dealing his whole life with it kept telling us this, and over dinner table we'll be eating and he'll be telling us stories like that. Like you met Gerard, like he's such a great storyteller, and he says it to us and we're like, what? This is happening in our country.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. That's why I always say, Balan, work. He'll always tell the boys, everybody, do your work, chase your dreams, stay out of trouble. I don't want to see you at 2 o'clock in the morning at a 7-Eleven trying to buy some beers. No matter how cool you are, no matter how well dressed you are. I don't want to see you driving back drunk at 3 o'clock in the morning. He kept telling us this like 10 years ago. Like, because he said that is the start of you making all those small mistakes that's gonna leave you in prison. It's that easy, but we take it for granted, lah. How many times you drove home drunk?
Never done that.
Good point.
Okay, so we'll go for a commercial break right now. We'll take a quick 2 minutes break, and then we'll come back with more stuff. See you later. Welcome back to the second half of the third half of the show. We left off. Okay, never mind. We got. I forgot what I was saying. So now
we got a bit too carried away just now.
No, it was a very heavy chat. Like, I think it was a very
heavy. So we'll try to go lighter this time.
Lighten it up. Alright, so Balan, speaking on the music scene in Malaysia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a few years ago, Kendrick dropped the Control verse, right? So that was like really controversial. It shook the industry up. It got everyone up to their game, right?
Right.
If you will, like J. Cole stepped up. Everyone sort of stepped up, It got everyone up to this shit, I'm called out kind of situation,
right?
But to Kendrick's perspective, it was more of like, it's a sport. Like, I respect all of you, but I'm trying to be the best, right?
Right.
So, as an artist as well, like, is there a need in you that I want to be the best, like establish yourself, like I'm the best MC out here, like?
I think everybody that takes the writing spot
Right.
On a serious note would want to feel like that.
Right.
But what is the best to you could be different to him, everybody, right?
For sure.
So like, I think that for me the idea was to be happy with myself first, and then be on the spot. But I used to battle freestyle very much earlier. Then along the way, like I felt like for me, I'm not speaking for anybody. For me, it was like, man, I want to make music that actually, like, when I'm 55, I'm going to turn back and look and go like, damn, we did this. Or I want to meet somebody around in my 40s or my 30s that somebody's like, you know what, that song helped me, or that song gives me the best memory of my graduation. Or I think it came out early to me. I was very lucky because some of my friends were making timeless music. Like,
define timeless music.
Okay, like it could be very biased. Like I'm a very Malaysian hip hop fan. Like I think Malaysian hip hop saved my life.
Right.
Like all the bands that I grew up listening to, like Butterfingers, OAG, they shaped my teenage age. Even though I was not a rock fan,
Yeah.
but there was Oasis, there was Nirvana and everything growing up. So when songs like Orang Biasa by Ultimate that came out a while ago, bro, that song almost sent me to a point that I saw life so different after hearing that record. Like I was in that phase of life. I was married. My daughter was very young. I am enjoying fatherhood. I'm enjoying something that I never had my whole life. A time to be in a moment to enjoy what's happening around me.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're always chasing something. We're always.
So now you're like, in a way, sort of like, not say you're content, but like sort of at peace with the way things are.
Be yourself first before you're in peace with everybody. So like coming back to like how you were saying Kendrick at one point was like that, and now look at the music that he's making. He recently dropped a verse on Busta's album.
Yeah.
He's so content with himself, the way he writes.
But that song, the Look Over Your Shoulders,
right?
Yeah, that song was originally supposed to be for Good Kid, Mad City.
You see, like, he just writes. That fella just writes. He's a poet. He's an MC. He's so content with himself, and he's coming out now. Like, you see, like, when was that?
When was that created?
And when is this? And the phases that you went through. Same goes to J. Cole. like you see how peace he is with his life, with himself, and he's not trying to justify anything. Like I think as soon as we take out that fact that we want to justify something, I think art becomes so timeless. Like No has this song called Kuala Lumpur Hujan, and bro, every time I hear the song, like I remember my days working in Kuala Lumpur, and I know that feeling will be the same. It'll take me back to the same place, the same smell, the same feeling. Even if I'm 55 years old or 60 years old, hearing the same song. Those were the type of music that I wish every MC could write, but they are all in different phases of their life. Their chase is different. They're writing for brands, they're writing to sell music, they're writing to be heard, they're writing to be in peace with themselves, they're writing to feed their fan base. There's so many ways of looking at how rappers or musicians are putting out music in this country. For me, I think I just want to write music with the younger generation because that was a I felt like my OGs put that on me. It's like, if you have a responsibility and you don't do it right, God's going to take that responsibility. God is going to take the talent away because you're not justifying your talent. Why did I give you that gift if you're not going to make a change in someone's life? So the last 2 years, and I've been like that, and songs like Orang Biasa, coming back to the question and ultimate, that song, bro, it changed everything for me. I started looking at life differently. I started looking at people differently. I never would understand how content you can be with yourself to write music like that. Like some of my favorite rappers are Nas and Jay-Z and all this stuff. But there are rappers like Common, if you guys go and hear Common's music, like Talib Kweli and everything.
Yeah.
They're not big. Like I don't know what is big to you, but they are huge in my life, dude. And there's thousands of me out there. And that's enough for us to make our favorite celebrities make enough money to take care of their families. You don't have to be in a mansion or a phantom ghost to show success and your happiness.
My favorite example for an artist who was exactly what you mentioned is Run the Jewels, Killer Mike. Like he carries himself for the black community. He's done so much for the black community.
Jeez, documentaries, oh my god.
Yeah,
Amazing,
crazy.
right?
And then during the BLM, the whole Black Lives Matter, he gave a speech about telling like to all the black people, don't have riots because that only became worse. You go to your house, you protest from your house, lock your house, just stay inside there, you see how much they can live without us.
If you don't spend your dollar in the community for like a day, he made the math, bro. He made people understand that. And I understood that. That's why nowadays I don't walk into a big corporation. I walk into a kedai runcit that is owned by my people's like countrymen, my Malaysians.
It's like investing into
You have to like, these are the musicians that have shaped me in the last few years, and to be very, very honest, like music is music. It's an art of selling. It's an art of giving what your fans want. It has changed so much in the last 10 years itself. Like you can put an old man on TikTok and still make him a star, and on social medias and Facebook, Instagram, YouTube and stuff. But is the people going to resonate with you after 10 years, after 15 years? I want to be there. I just want to be on that type of music. Like, let me make music that when I'm 50, my boys like, yo, remember this, dog? Like, just my friends, that feeling of that song.
I get where you're coming from. So like, I remember when we all go on holiday, me and my friends, we like at one level, suddenly this song reminds you of a certain memory, and then it just hits like, that feeling is just like, holy shit, it was the most joyful part of that's the exciting moment a person could ever have.
For a consumer, like when you're doing music for somebody, imagine if one of your song is there for them forever. You made it, dog. Like, what else do you want? Like, awards and everything to justify who is... It's success is how you justify it or how you measure it. So as long as you're at peace with yourself, then I think everything that you put out could be timeless. Because you're not chasing anything, you're just putting out art.
Just doing things that you like.
Yeah, and so much more happier, bro. Like some of my favorite rappers, like growing up, are all in that tip right now. Like, duit berjuta, but they don't show it at all. Like Nas is a freaking good example, bro.
Yeah.
Like the investments that he has made, but it's so humble, bro. Like he doesn't even sell it, but he's an OG legend, different now. It's different from the people who are blowing up now or the people after this. But there's so much of traits that you can learn from them, like small things. It's not an overnight thingy. It takes years for this. Like Nas was not celebrated the first 15 years of his career. He was not like then like every concert that he's going, like kids from the age of 16 to people in the age in their 40s can recite like all his big punchlines.
You still doing concerts now?
Like the last concerts were like 2018 when he comes and do NY State of Mind, which came out in the early 90s. The whole place could sing it. I'm like, damn. Having that happening in your life in the first 5 years of your career is great. 10 years, you were lucky. If after 15 years and people can recite your whole song, like
that's another level.
That's what's up.
of greatness, bro. Like, because it was in that part of their life that song shaped everything.
So like now as a dad, right, like I'm pretty sure that experience is going to change the way your music's going to come out as well, right? So
It's you have to, bro. It's
You have
another
to,
phase of life, right? Like I know this song. I was just having this chat with my brother Psycho Mantra.
yeah.
I did a song called Kuchi Kuchi Rakama in like 2011. I'm a young guy at that time. I'm not dating. I don't know how to understand love or anything like that. So whatever I wrote in that verse became legendary for all the boys who want to be players. Today, they're like, yo, Ned, that song. And I'm like, no. But at that phase of my life,
That's what you were speaking on.
I was speaking that one.
Yeah.
But today, I'm a dad. I know, like, oh, okay, I have a sense of responsibility, which I'm supposed to have without even being married. No. If I was schooled well, I come from a house full of ladies. Like, I lost my dad at the age of 18. So it was my mom and my sisters were my role models. But even with that, I went and wrote a song like that. But that song became legendary. It's a party record, like how Pitbull would write songs or Flo Rida wrote songs. They're not bad men. They're not.
It's a part of the phase of life.
Yeah, a phase of life, and they wrote that. Like today, I'm like, I want to write songs that my wife would understand me. Like, oh, that's maturity in how you even write about love or how you write about the opposite sex. And because we both know consciously as adults, in 5 years or 10 years, my daughter's going to ask, like, why did you write this song? Because my daughter dances to start the thriller all the time. Like she knows, hey, she knows all that twerk already. Like she's 2.5.
She knows the dance lah.
Yeah. I didn't teach her to twerk. She doesn't watch it on TV, but a baby dances like that. So I look at overgrown, like adult girls being babies up and they do twerk because my daughter does it, bro, and she didn't see TV to understand it.
Right.
That's how babies move, right? But when she's 10 or 11, even if she doesn't know it, someone around her is going to
know it.
14, 15, hey, your father wrote song like this. For sure, that argument will sure happen, right? So I'm not cleaning myself up, but I'm got to be my age. And I know what I write is going to live forever. Even if I die tomorrow, it's going to live forever. Somebody's going to hear it after 10, 20 years. And this guy said this one word. Macha's still rocking Versace, and Macha's is still dying every day. I just said it in Laita, right? Like, somebody's going to reflect to the same thing 20 years down the road. Because there's still going to be people rocking Armani and Versace's, thinking they made it in life. But there are other Machans dying on the replay, dude. Like custody deaths and everything. So better write this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
You be timeless.
It's like you come from a position of like you have an influence, you have a following, you have all of that, right? So like you have that sort of do you agree that you have some sort of responsibility in the words you speak on?
Now I do. Like since like 2017 I realized that. Like the kids that I was meeting in universities, the boys that I was meeting in colleges, kids with dreams coming like 18. I've been 18 before. I've been 17 before. I went to the hands of Malik and Joe Flizzo and took a signature from them, and they're like, what you doing with like 80 Malay boys? I'm like, this is my hood. And they see me at a show like, oh, you can rap, like, oh, then keep in touch. And they give me the hand to like, put me on stage, give me shows, put some money in my pocket. call my mother and say like, auntie, I'll take care of him. Tell him to come and work for me. And if I don't do that, and if I have that position to do that, and if I don't do that, something can be selfish lah. Don't be so selfish lah. You know, you have to give it back, dog. Like it's not all you. You don't take from people. Like in terms of like, listen to my music, take, and you don't give back anything, kan? Like it's not fair in a way lah. Like I'm so proud of some of the boys in my batch. They're all putting on boys. Like Naveen has like worked with like some of the most like legendary guys in this country and like put them on, like, and my boy Rabbit Charlie has put on so many boys. Like look at my OGs, what they're doing. Like Ultimate, retired, still putting his boys on. Malik is still putting his boys on. Yogi is working on younger boys. Like all these people. Like
it's about leaving a legacy. Like
yeah, look at Joe. Like let's not even go to him. Like yo, you making dreams come true, dude. And Namlas Barish changed my damn life. I was at the lowest point of my life in 2017, and that show came on that time, a couple of months before I got married, and that thing changed my perspective of everything. It was just one verse that I dropped, and there's so many people who went and heard started to roll after that. Then I saw like going to colleges and these kids coming. It was like a full circle again. Then I felt like, okay, you know what?
It's another jump for your career.
Yeah, I gotta give it back to these boys. Like I gotta hook them up with the right people.
Yeah.
I gotta like, if I see a talent, I gotta go tell them. Cause I don't want the younger ones to feel like the OGs ain't looking, or the OGs ain't like looking out for them. It's so unfair. We got enough suppression in the community. Someone they want to come out from the OGs they look up to. Come on, dude. Like that's why like nowadays I look at it like that. Especially this year, COVID.
Yeah.
Like pretty much everybody who messaged me, I try to reply them. My original phone number is prostitute number already. Like everybody got the number, like orders of t-shirts, kids sending their demos, like people want to do stuff and everything. So I feel like if there's a sense of responsibility, and
you gotta fulfill it.
Yeah, you gotta try to at least fulfill. You can't do a perfect job, but you just gotta try.
But isn't there like pressure on you though? I mean, like
it's like unnecessary pressure putting on yourself to leave a legacy that might or might not be there, or might not people will take it. Don't you think like it's an unnecessary pressure for myself to do, putting myself in that position?
One of the things I learned from Gerard was that like you do what you need to do and don't expect the results that you want. It was like
don't expect anything in return.
Yeah, don't expect the results you want. Like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to put a record out today, it's going to be 5 million views and all that stuff. Do you think
If it hits, it hits.
No, it reaches the places, but we need to start applauding people who are trying, rather than just only applauding people that are established and stuff like that. Like, I met so many young business entrepreneurs this COVID time. There's this girl from Kajang, she was like doing like chocolate spread and everything. There's some young boys from Seremban came to do t-shirt brand, and my OGs taught me how to fish. They didn't catch a fish and give me every day. So I needed to tell them like, yo, you know, you can do this yourself. You don't need to be my kunchu and all this shit. Like, it's the things that you learn. Like, it's not heavy on you lah. Sometimes it is. But I think most of the time, if you look at it like that, not for a legacy, not for like, I need to be that OG shit. It'll just come effortlessly, and it'll reach the place that it needs to reach. What, right? Like, I got a bond with this flow for past like 4 years, and I've seen like, I've never seen him trying to look at me like in that OG thing. I've never looked at him as a younger generation. No, I look at him like one of the fams. Like, yo, you can come to my house. He's been to my house. You know, that kind of stuff. Like, let's be more open doors, open arms in this generation forward, and I think we can build a better environment around us. For sure.
Like, I known you for from when before you were married and after you were married. How was the transitioning from this life going to marriage life? I always wanted to know that, because I never asked, and as a father, I never asked anyone. I don't know anyone that I knew before that,
right.
And you went to a father figure. Like, how was the transitioning for you happen for that?
My dad was 21 years old when he had my sister. So, for me to be a dad at my age, at that time, I was like, dude, I'm a bit too late lah, you know. That was one. And number two is like, I wanted to see how that life was spent out. I know Sharon for a bit, we're close buddies, started dating, everything clicked, and my friends loved her, my family loved her. And there was something about the arrival of my daughter that shaped both of us as adults. And I started enjoying waking up at night, and if you ask anybody that knows me, they know how much I love my sleep. Like, I love my sleep, bro. Like, I don't like getting disturbed. I don't pick up phone calls.
He becomes an animal, you know, if you try to wake him.
They know that. Like, okay, like, I'm sleeping and something like sound outside, I will snap, bro. Like, my sleep is that precious to me. Imagine being a new dad. And there were nights like my wife was tired the whole day and she sleeps, mom is sleeping, and I'm praying my daughter doesn't wake up and scream because I don't know what to do. I don't know, bro. Like, you get it, no? The milk is at the heater and all, you know, but you're like scared. As I saw growing up, certain things just reflected so different to me. She tried walking, right? And she falls. And she kept trying. So what happened to us? Like, what happened to me? Dude, like, one failure, you want to take it so hard, or like one hard thing happened, you want to give up. Like, you know, those kind of stuff. Like, you learn. That was what fatherhood was for me. And learning to respect the space of my wife, being with a partner, respecting things that will upset them, you know, speaking in public, and patience, all that stuff comes in as a father. Like, you can get that normally as well without marriage. Like, Tanish just got engaged, right?
That was a shock for all of us.
I love the boy. Like, I called him, I was like, hey, I'm going to have the uncle talk with you. Like, yo.
And somehow he was the youngest person in our group.
Yeah.
And then all of us like, hey, is he getting married? Like, holy shit.
Life works differently for different people, bro. Like, it's not a race, guys. Look at it as a marathon. You all have your own marathon. I have my own marathon. And let's hope, like, while we're at the marathon, we're happy. We don't upset and hurt people around us, and when you turn back and look at life, you're like, damn, that was not bad. Yeah, you know, we've lived well.
You've gone through, you're past this life.
Yeah, not like, oh, I've drank you, I've done. Dude, that's not living, dude. Like, you know, those are not the measure of when you're 55 turning back and seeing like that. But if you say to your boys, your best friends, and if you're lucky enough, until the age of 55, 60, you're still with your best friends. And you're like, hey, you remember the Langkawi trip? No? That's a different way of celebrating it, rather than celebrating in a different way, you know. And I started looking at it like that as a dad, like, you know. And I got easy with my drinks. I got easy with my smoking. Food, please stop eating meat, Indian roast. Talk about too much of mutton in your system. That's why you're fighting. I'm telling you, I've been there. I know how it is. Enough mutton, guys. Enough mutton.
So we should enough mutton. We should.
No, fuck that, dude. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I've lost too many friends. Like, I'm saying it with a smile, like, too many, dog. Like, oh my god, the complication that comes in the 40s with meat eating. I lost my dad at the age of 48, so my dad was a meat eating monster and size like my size. So they're like, what? But it's along the year, the practice is what you put in your mouth. So, like, people always make fun of Prito. Everybody knows that.
But eventually, everybody just slowly become
like, I remember being around Prito, like, everybody's like, clean vegetarian. Sorry for my language, but I remember that. But my mom has been vegetarian for 36 years.
Yeah.
Like, so 37 years, you know. Yeah, 37 years now. And that's crazy, bro. Like, and I say, like, temptations don't have. So,
yeah, at one point we just forget the taste of meat. We just like forget. We don't. It's just gone missing in your memory to meat. But
be pescatarians. Don't be vegetarians, but be pescatarians. At night, just eat idli and sleep. That's it. Going to eat nasi kandar and sorry. I'm not beefing anybody, but just don't eat heavy food at night. You know.
The rice, I need to cut down the rice. So. Well, I think that's the best way to wrap up the show on our diet plans. Like to thank Balan Kashmir for being on the show
Thank
with
you,
us.
sir.
Like thank Vishnu Skalodi, the team behind. We got Kevin, Clarissa, Tirta, Ted, Didri, Dominic. And until next time for episode 5.
Oh yeah, before we go,
Oh.
quick shout out to Kacang Kecil, our artist. She did the work here and that one. If you
Right, she's on
guys-
Instagram.
She's on
Yeah.
Instagram. She's on Instagram. Her Instagram is Kacang Kecil.
So
Check out her
she does
artwork.
all
She's
this,
amazing.
This trippy kind of
Right.
painting.
I'm gonna send a
Oh.
painting to you guys from my boy Noise.
Yes,
you guys
please,
gotta check
yes,
him out
please.
to Chew. He got like some funky like, yo, this is dope. Like you guys gotta get this up going with all your guests.
Yeah,
Every
thank you,
guest
thank
should
you.
introduce you all to an artist like this, and then the scene might grow lah. Spend your money here lah.
That's why
Yeah,
we
support
showcase
local, support
everything
local.
here. Yeah. Right?
Alright, thank
Beautiful
you.
day,
Thank you.
guys. Like thank you,
Thank
for
you.
Thank you.
sir.
Hope you enjoy our conversation.
I want you guys to grow. Like keep having conversations like this going on. Like this is gonna help a lot of people that we don't even realize we're helping. Somebody from Changkajering, somebody from Denki, or
Yeah.
somebody from somewhere in the country could be watching this, and it could like help them ease their pain or look at life in a whole different spectrum. And
Alright.
thank
That's
you.
what we're trying to hit, lah. Trying
Thank
to
you,
help
thank
people.
you.
Alright, guys. We're done. And that's a wrap.